The Byte, your go-to source for all things nerdy.
In bite-sized form. Today on The Big Byte, we'll be talking about the future of children's and tweens television. So really right up our demographics alley. So joining us today is our friend Phil Rosenberg, who is our resident children's show expert. So
thank you.
We'll be getting to that, but let's start off with some news. Yes. All right, we got 3 minutes on the clock. Let's do this.
Go. X-Men Days of Future is announced, and apparently Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart are both to return in the sequel, prequel, what is it anymore?
So
I don't even know.
Days of Future Past is one of the most famous X-Men storylines. It involves past versions of X-Men characters, future versions of X-Men characters. So essentially, remember in the
prequel,
first...
sequel.
It's a sequel to First Class that's going to bridge the gap between the old films. So remember how Senator Kelly is killed in the first X-Men movie? What this storyline is... If you haven't seen it, what this movie essentially is going to be is it's going to be an alternate universe if the X-Men didn't stop that cover-up. If that didn't occur. If like the world found out that he died and then mutants become hated.
Branch off.
But the big news here is we're going to have a movie in which we're going to have 2 Magnetos and 2 Professor X's together. Like Ian McKellen in a scene with Michael Fassbender. Incredible.
That could be
incredible.
That's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
I can't wait for that.
It's going to be awesome. But we got some big other superhero news here.
Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is going to be Batman. He's speculated as Batman.
Possible Batman.
Yeah, in the Justice League film.
Yeah, Drew McWeeny.
Which doesn't really make total sense because he's Robin.
No, but I disagree with that because his name is Robin.
Yeah,
so if he became Robin, then
well, that was the point.
He was supposed to be Batman's Robin in the film, but I think he's becoming Batman, and that was the whole
I mean, the big
point of
interesting thing about this is it was Drew McWeeny from Hit Fix who broke it, so it's not official yet, but he's got a great track record, so we can kind of rely off this. And he also says that perhaps we will see Joseph Gordon-Levitt at the end of Man of Steel in a little cameo. But the big news is we're not going to have Justice League as we're not. It's going to be like that. It's going to be like the Marvel films. We're going to have Man of Steel lead into apparently this starts back with Batman Begins now. Like apparently if Joseph Gordon-Levitt is still playing John Blake, this means that we're continuing the storyline that Christopher Nolan's Batman films aren't their own individual thing, but they're the beginning of this larger universe. Yeah.
They're making a universe out of it.
Yeah, they're turning a universe. I don't know how I feel about this. I almost want Nolan's films to be its own. Because how are you... Justice League isn't going to...
A dark Justice League.
This is all just speculation for now.
So we'll see. But
next,
what isn't speculation is the writer of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, blanking on the name right now, but he is coming back and he's going to be working on Star Wars 8 and 9 along with another writer. So we have Michael Arndt, who did Toy Story 3, is going to be doing the first one and outline the whole series. And then we actually have some old favorites come back, which is pretty exciting to see that. So that'll be very cool.
Very cool.
What else we got?
Chevy Chase is leaving Community.
And no one is sad about it.
Nope.
No one.
Apparently that's a thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the weird thing is he left 2 episodes before they were done filming. So the show may potentially not come back. This might be the last season. Yeah. And he didn't even wait for the last 2 episodes. Well, Chevy Chase.
I'm over him.
Unless.
Ah, well. You know what? That's all the time we got for news. So let's move over to the Big Byte discussion. All right. So let's talk about children's tweens television. So iCarly has just come to an end. I never was a real viewer of it. I don't think you were either. But
no, I think I watched a couple episodes when it started up, back in the day, before we really got
older.
Yes. Yeah. But what's interesting to me here is the fact that iCarly's over, Hannah Montana is over. So now the 2 big titans of this tween television about being famous and about being a pop star, being an internet celebrity. It's kind of coming to an end. I mean, recently they announced...
Yeah, that was a big swell.
They had so many... Big Time Rush is still on the air, but How to Rock just got canceled. Victorious just got canceled. Both shows about kids wanting to be famous.
Yeah.
I think it's going to stop.
They're kids just like you, except not.
And so they're returning more to the way that we grew up. And I mean, they're literally doing that with Disney doing Girl Meets World. And they just signed...
Daniel Fishel and Ben Savage
to reprise the roles as Corey Topanga. And Michael Jacobs is back. And I think this is going to be the big front runner for trying to bring back children's television, tween television, the old days. They're bringing back to this.
With some heart and not just silly goofiness, I think.
Which is an interesting
Danielle
shift
Fisher was actually quoted in saying how she is so excited for this to happen because, she spent 7 years doing Boy Meets World and that cast, they're family now. They always stayed family after that. And she said all of the heart and soul and all of the things that she learned doing it and that she got out of it is going into Girl Meets World.
Yeah, I read that post as well. They said that everyone was in on the talk. Wilfred Dell, Bill Daniels, everyone was in.
Oh my God! I hope that Mr. It makes no sense.
They cannot have Feeney.
I hope Feeney's back. Bring back Feeney.
I said it should be like Superintendent Feeney. I was like, they need him in there somewhere.
He's got to be in it.
He's got to be.
But it's exciting that they're going back to this old style because I mean it's just a bad message for kids. It's just bad because you don't have to be famous.
You don't have.
No one can relate to having a record deal because
not everybody can be famous like Marion.
Yeah, I'm the only famous. No, I'm not famous, and I'm okay with it. It's fine.
I definitely think it was High School Musical who definitely put it over the top where it was like, oh, now everyone can just sing on our shows and we can sell it on iTunes.
Yeah.
I think that's where it basically came from. And then Glee did it, and then Victorious does it. And all these shows just released their things on iTunes. It's the vertical integration and all that.
Yeah,
kind of
and
stuff.
so I'm hoping we move away from that and more to more family dynamics.
Yeah. Where the family can watch it.
Yeah, where it's not just for kids,
Yeah.
but it's family entertainment. I mean, Boy Meets World's still great looking back and watching it.
So good.
And I don't mean that in just a nostalgia sense for like what Boy Meets World is trying to accomplish. It's great at it.
It's just like, I hope they don't take the legacy that is Boy Meets World and just tarnish it. They did Harriet the Spy. They did a movie off of that, and they tarnished
the legacy
it,
of Harriet the Spy.
But what I'm saying is like
great.
they've taken stuff from the past and like changed it, and it wasn't good. I'm hoping that
I
since
think
they
there
have
are
the
enough people to not let that happen.
Well, it'd be interesting with Michael Jacobs doing it again. But the big thing to me is this industry shift that we're going back to, and this is why we wanted to talk about it in the Big Bite because this is a pretty big deal that we're the two titans of this, and even you can throw in Wizards of Waverly Place. Yeah. Those shows about the kids being so special and different, and more back to the old average kids. I mean,
just normal kids with normal problems.
With Evie Stevens, Lizzie McGuire, they were just normal kids about that, and that's a really interesting trend that I hope we go back to because the morals of that is just so much better than the get rich, get famous, and things like that. So I think that's incredibly exciting to go back to, and I hope that it works out.
I'm really excited for things to be more accessible to like what we said, like for families, even if it's not necessarily like a family sitcom, just things to be accessible to more than just the teens watching it. Like I feel like almost animated things nowadays are more accessible to a bunch of
animation
age groups, like Avatar, both Last Airbender and Legend of Korra,
or Adventure Time. I mean, like we're live action is in this transition of figuring out what it's going to become. We know what children's animation right now is at its peak. I don't know that we've ever had so many great cartoons on right now.
I think it's really great, but
recently.
I also
generally great shows.
Myself, obviously, wants to bring in Dan Schneider does aim his shows at like adults as well. There's an entire episode of Victorious that was called The Breakfast Bunch, and it was a reference to the Breakfast Club. No kid's gonna get that. It's all for adults and the older people. So it's like they still try and aid to it, but like then again,
he's been doing this for a while.
And his new shows too. I mean, he's doing iCarly's ending, and instead of having shows about people being famous, I mean, they're doing the spin-off of
he's doing a spin-off of Victorious and iCarly. One is Sam and Cat, and then the other is Gibby. Sam and Cat is them. Sam and from iCarly and Kat from Victorious.
Which is really notable because I don't think there's any other show that's had two very popular shows had spin-offs to become one.
It hasn't.
Like that's a pretty big deal, and that'd be interesting to see. Is that going to be like a shift in the dynamic? Is that something that we're going to start seeing?
If they did that. But like they're both normal things. Sam and Kat are babysitting in the show, and then in Gibby he's just like working at a rec center. So it's bringing back normal kids, and I'm loving that. I don't like the whole kids wanting to be famous thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's just too many shows where kids are trying to like get bands and then get famous and things like that. And
I like a show where it was like Drake and Josh, where Drake was a musician. But it wasn't his entirety of him was all just trying to.
I didn't really watch Drake and Josh, but
but I mean, that's a little bit. Even that is a little more teen. It's a little bit older. It's a bit an older generation.
I definitely think all these shows are starting to get a little older, though.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to have that. I mean, you got to go for those audiences, and I'm really excited to see where the future of this goes.
Absolutely.
I hope that it reaches a renaissance because I mean, who knew that we'd be going back and saying some of the. I think the best show of 2012 is Gravity Falls, which is a children's.
I need to watch it. That's next on my list.
I'm sure we'll talk about it next one. I'm sure we'll talk about it again. But like in Adventure Time, these are some of the best shows on TV right now, and who knows, maybe in the future we'll have a live action tween kid show. That's right up there as well. But that's all the time we have for today. But thanks for watching. Watch us next time.
Yum.